Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video. And of course, overnight tonight, we got the reveals for the new LRs here on Twitter. Dokkan Official has tweeted them out. I did see the info this morning. I was taking a look at it this morning. Obviously, I had to go to work, so had to wait till I get home to put the video out here today. So I know I'm a little late on this one, but hopefully you guys are still interested in seeing my videos just to get my thoughts and perspectives on everything. And I do think these units are quite interesting, right? So I'm actually quite excited to say that I kind of called it on the Vegeta. In my video where we initially, where Global made the oopsie and accidentally leaked them, in that video I had talked about that I would really love for a unit to basically have the revive mechanic into an exchange. And sure enough, that's exactly what this Vegeta does. So kudos to Dokkan for doing that, but the condition's not so great. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So this is the LR Vegeta. He is, please note that he is extreme type. This is something I did talk about in that first video, that I wasn't sure if the Vegeta would be super or extreme or not. And that if he does exchange the Goku, he could be like the Tech Majin Vegeta, where he's wonky and he starts off extreme and goes to super class, which in fact, that is what this unit does, which could make it problematic in some situations. But I think because of the way his revive mechanic works, I think it's easy enough that, like, if you wanted to run this guy as an extreme Vegeta, you would pretty much have control over that and could just keep him that way the whole way, right? All right, so let's take a look here. So his leader skill is Planet Namek, Key 4 and 130 to stats, and then he's Int class Key 4 and 100 to stats, okay? His passive is Key 3 and Attack 150. He gets an additional 2 key and defense 150 when HP is 30% or more. So he's like basically always going to have that, right? He gets an additional attack and defense 50% while attacking. That's very important because remember, the way the numbers multiply in, when they do damage on super or on attack, it's actually a much greater number than what you're looking at there. So that 50% is actually a really nice buff there. If HP is 29% or less at the start of the character's attacking turn, revives with 70% HP recovered by exchanging with Goku when the character or an ally attacking in the same turn is KO'd. The problem with this active skill is you are like never going to see it. Here's the way to imagine it. Basically think of Int LR Cell. Think of how often you get his transformation. It's going to be about that often, but sometimes even less than that. Because Int LR Cell is you enter the turn with 30% or less HP after like X number of turns, right? With this Vegeta, not only do you have to enter with 29% or less HP, but it's still not guaranteed you'll get it because you have to take enough damage and revive. And with how good units are these days, depending on what team you're running him on, if you're on a turn entering at 29%, like counting on that revive mechanic, if the boss just decides they're not going to super that turn, most units can tank normals for double digits, even in hard content. So there's like no guarantee you'll get the revive, right? So it's not quite as bad as AGL LR Gohan, but we're kind of entering that territory, in my opinion. So it's not the greatest. It's nice that the revive is there, right? Like, it definitely could happen, but like, dude, you're never going to see this Goku show up, right? Categories, he does have a lot of nice categories, and categories that need help, right? Like Inhuman Deeds, Dragon Ball Seekers, Planet Namek Saga, like these are teams that need it, right? So Planetary Destruction, some good teams there, right, that he can be on. His attack, his 12 key is raises attack and defense for 1 turn and does colossal damage. And then the 18 key is raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes mega colossal. So nothing too crazy there. Like, I mean, other than the revive mechanic, he's just kind of like a straight up beat stick. Like, his stats are going to be insane. He's going to put up big numbers. His defense is going to be good, right? The thing you have to keep in mind, like before summoning on the banner, is like, how often do you need this Vegeta? How often are you going to use him on your teams, and what team builds are you going to run him on, right? Yeah, just something to think about. I'll talk more about like the banner and like if I think you should pull or not here in just a minute. So we'll pop out there, and then we've got the second slide here. This is the Goku, okay? Take a good look at it, because other than this, you're probably not going to see it that much. So get a good look at that Goku, because other than you just looking at it in the artwork or whatever, you're not going to be seeing this guy very often. This guy's going to be about as memorable as a transformed Gohan. So you can see he does change the Super Int. He does get his effects do change. Leader skill obviously is unchanged. You see we do get some link changes there. He gets some more Goku links. And then here's his passive. So it's key 3, attack and defense 159, plus an additional attack and defense 59 when performing a super attack, plus an additional key 3, and reduces damage received by 30% when there is an extreme class enemy. High chance of performing a crit when there is a Planet Namek Saga category enemy. So like the Goku on transform, like he gets a little bit more stats, and he has a little bit here with like the crit, but like, and the damage reduction, right? That 30% damage reduction with the defense he's going to have is huge, and doing the crit against Planet Namek, that's going to come into play sometimes, but not like crazy often. So like, it's kind of interesting because you would think with how hard it is to get this exchange that this Goku would be really busted. Don't get me wrong, he's going to do really good things. He's going to hit hard, have good defense damage reduction. But for how hard he is to get out, he's, to me, just like a little bit better than the Vegeta, but not like crazy better. I think the way you need to look at this Vegeta is this. If you're thinking about summoning for this guy, basically think of you're summoning for Vegeta and that's really who you're using. If you're not happy with how the Vegeta performs as is, don't summon for this unit. So probably tonight or tomorrow when the data download hits, there will be private server videos up. I would suggest watch those videos and base it on Vegeta. Do not base it on Goku because you're hardly ever going to see this guy, right? And then if you think you like this extreme, like extreme int does need the help, so this is a valuable extreme unit. But just look at the teams, imagine what you're running, think of how often you're going to use this guy. But you have to make sure when you go on these legendary summon banners, like the unit's got to be like really, really worth it, right? To me, the type of unit that's really worth it on a legendary summon banner is like Strength Turles. He's like a generic like extreme support unit who does ridiculous damage, and I'm going to use him whenever I can, right? That's the type of unit to me that's worth going in on an LR banner. To me, this Vegeta, I don't know if that's the case. Like, I'm not sure how much I'd run him, not sure how much I'm going to run his teams, and like the revive's cool, but how often are you actually going to get it off, right? And then same thing, super attack affects attack and defense for 1 turn, and then does Colossal or Mega Colossal for Goku. So that's basically the Goku Vegeta, right? Then we've got the other unit here, which is going to be the Krillin and Gohan. So we're going to start on page 1. Now, these guys use costume change, which is kind of interesting. So they are rapid growth category lead, which that is kind of cool because rapid growth does not need another leader. Because right now I think it's just Kefla, right, as like a main lead. It is unfortunate they're only 130. I feel like we're getting to the game state where 130 just isn't good enough, especially for really hard content. I feel like they got to bare minimum do 150 these days, so it's kind of unfortunate he's only a 130, right? And then he is AGL type, so AGL gets the 100 leader skill there. So the passive, attack and defense 130, medium chance of evading an enemy's attack, including super, plus an additional key per key sphere. That's very valuable, by the way, for LRs. Any LR that has that extra key per sphere is part of the reason why the original Int LR Gohan was so good. It was just so free and easy to 18 key with him. So with these guys, it's going to be very similar, right? He gets an additional attack plus 50% when performing a super. Once again, that on super is going to be a lot more impactful than the 50% you're seeing there. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack when key is 24. So getting the 24 key is really important with these guys. So if you can run them with orb changing, that is actually very, very valuable, right? And then changes into battle suit when conditions are met. The battle suit conditions, right here, can be activated starting from the 3rd turn from start of battle once only. And you get key plus 24 for 1 turn. So that's the active skill, right? And then they also have another one where I think you have to super attack 4 times. We'll get to that. So super attack effect raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes colossal damage to the enemy. Okay. So we'll hop in here. Yep. And then super attack effect on the 24 key greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn. And then here is the costume change. Changes into battle suit upon entering the next attacking turn after performing 4 or more super attacks. So the active skill we saw before, that's just like its own thing that gives you 24 key for the turn. So it's just going to guarantee you get that extra buff from the 24 key, which I think gives you that guaranteed additional, right? The battle suit transformation is actually really interesting. So basically you have to get 4 or more attacks, and he does have additionals built in his kit, provided you can get 24 key. So the soonest you're going to be able to transform with this guy is turn 5, because if you had 2 double attacking turns, that's your 4 supers right there. And then turn 5 is when you can actually do that exchange, right? Or not an exchange, but the costume change. So we've got the costume change here. Okay, and this is interesting. I don't know that other costume change units have done this, but the passive actually changes with the costume change. And I don't know that this is the case with other costume change units. I guess, no, it is, because Videl has, like, just that passive, but, like, this is, like, the whole kit. Like, you can see all this that's glowing in rainbow. Like, this is all different. So the passive then goes up to attack and defense 150, medium chance of evading, an additional 1 key per key sphere, and then he gets another key per rainbow. So rainbow's going to give an extra buff there, right? Plus an additional attack plus 58 and medium chance of evading an enemy's attack when performing a super attack. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super when key is 24. So the kit's basically the same, but they're getting extra key and attack and defense in it, which I think this unit's kind of intriguing. I like it because it's a very unique named character, right? And then all this here, yeah, just raises attack and defense for 1 turn on super attack effects. This is all basically the same here, right? Yep. So there you go, guys. Those are the new units. Here's the thing. With Krillin and Gohan, actually, let's look at their links. Because that's my one fear, is that with Krillin and Gohan, that the links would be wonky. So you can see they've got Kamehameha, Solid Support, Cold Judgment, Infighter, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. So the links themselves, they're all fairly decent links. It's just a matter of finding units that are cohesive that are going to link this much with them. I feel like they might work good with like Tech Ultimate Gohan or some units like that. Getting things like Cold Judgment. Yeah, I don't know. If you can actually link them up, they're going to be really solid. I would actually have to take like a good look and see like what their best linking partner would be. But I think out of the two, I do like the Krillin and Gohan better. But I think they're both going to like attack and defend very, very well. My big issue with them is just like on some of these teams, right? So Krillin and Gohan, they're on Rapid Growth. Here's the thing with Rapid Growth. If I'm running Rapid Growth, you're going to want to run the better leader. So you're running Kefla. If you're running Kefla, you're just going to run the U6 girls. They're way more cohesive and they're a fabulous team. So why would I put Krillin and Gohan on that team, right? Planet Namek Saga, yes, they definitely need it, especially if you're going to run a super class build. They're fantastic there. However, with all the free Ginyu Force unit EZAs, like they're actually really good to the point where you can build between the new Goku, the new Frieza, the third form Frieza, if you pulled the Piccolo, the Ginyu Force, like you can build a really good Planet Namek. Like you don't need either of these. Dragon Ball Seekers, yeah, they can use the help. But like you've got that tech transforming Frieza EZA. Once again, I think Ginyu Force is on there. Joined Forces, they don't really need the help. They've got a ton of crazy units. And Kamehameha, there is no room for them on Kamehameha. That team is just overstacked. So it's like, the thing is, so the units are good, right? Like we can say that they're good. The question you need to ask yourself, you guys, is how often are you going to use these units and do you need them? The other thing you need to ask is when this Legendary Summon banner comes out, which, by the way, other than the 2 LRs, the rest of the banner will be trash. Like, I don't even need to see the banner to tell you that. It's going to be trash, and there's going to be a lot of featured units. So your chance of pulling the one you want is going to be slim, right? Would you rather sink your stones into that with, like, a Hail Mary at a unit that you might barely use? Or would you rather go for dupes of Goku and Frieza? I'm going to say go for dupes of Goku and Frieza. Plus, those banners are still stacked with like really good Dokkan Fests and LRs. If you're a newer player, you really don't need to go in on these LR banners, man. I would say you're either at this point, if you're done with the Goku and Frieza, just save. Like, dude, I know it seems a ways away, but November is going to be crazy hype. When they come out with Dragon Ball Heroes, those banners are going to be like insanely worth pulling on. That's my guess. And you're going to have Tanabata, you're going to have like Tech Gogeta coming out, like. There's way hyper stuff down the road, guys. So I'd say if you're done with Goku and Frieza, just hold your stones. If you want to spend, just keep going for Goku and Frieza. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of these units. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.